It doesn't matter. So just go with it.
Okay. Why?
I'm like, gee, I'm going to say. Bye. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Welcome to another episode of Save My Assets.
Yep.
We do this because it's a lot easier to answer your great questions, and I do mean great, in video form rather than a paragraph.
You can get a lot more detail in video form because there's a lot of variances in this project or in this business. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it helps out a lot. All right, so the first question that we have is from Kathy Schumacher. Thank you for, first of all, watching our videos.
Yes, thank you very much.
And also for giving the comment. And this is the comment. It says, my finished shade will be 46 inches wide. Now, she's referring to the Roman shade DIY project that we did. And she says that 3 inches returns wrapped around upper trim of window. So it has a 3-inch return. What's a return for a Roman shade for those who don't know?
Well, for those who don't know, a Roman shade can either be outside mounted or inside mounted like this behind us. So if it's an outside mount, you're going to have it sticking out. Like here's the wall here. You're going to have it coming out a certain amount of inches. I think it's like 3. Some of them are as bad as 5.
And that houses the mechanism.
It does.
That goes up and down and stuff like that.
Right. So if it's like, say, a woven shade that you order from a factory, usually it's just going to have a valance with a return right here to cover the mechanism. If you're going to have it professionally made or do it yourself out of a fabric, you can have the return here, okay, hiding the mechanism. This is the wall, hiding the mechanism all the way down to help reduce some of the light.
Okay, so it hides the mechanism and it reduces some of the light.
And it's only for outside mounts. You don't need a return for an inside mount.
Got it. Okay, so that makes sense. So she has a 3-inch return, and she says the window is 72 inches long. Should I have additional rows of rings? You saw in the video, if you've seen the video, you know what we're talking about. It's the actual rings that the cord goes through. Should I have an additional row of rings in the middle? If so, 1 more or 2 more? Thank you for your video. Very informative and helpful. We're glad it's helpful, and we hope to go ahead and help you with this as well. With this, it depends on which type of treatment you're going to be doing. So we did a relaxed Roman shade, which has the so-called smile. Yeah, I mean, I say so-called, but it's just called smile.
I just pulled the video up. Yeah, it is called DIY window treatment.
Okay, perfect.
How to make a relaxed Roman shade.
Excellent. So we have that relaxed one on that one. And with that, you only need 2 rows of rings, 1 on one side and 1 on the other. Now, if you're going to do a flat Roman shade without that smile at the bottom,
Which would resemble somewhat of this.
yeah, exactly, you would have those 2 rows, but you would have additional rows in the middle. And each row would need to be about 8 to 10 inches apart. So what you need to do is find out how much actually room you have in between those 2 rows, and every 8 to 10 inches you put another row.
Yes.
So it really depends on how wide you said it's 46 inches. I'm not going to do the math, but you know.
Yeah, whatever works out for you. Right, exactly. So it's similar to this here, and then we have a bar down the bottom there, which actually broke, but that doesn't matter.
If you're doing relaxed, you only need 2. If you're doing flat, you're going to need about 8 to 10 inches with the middle ones. I'd probably do the 10 just to keep it simple.
Yeah.
If you can.
But if you have also, like this here, you can see right through it. It's intended for that. It gives a little bit of light, but blocks out the sun. So you won't see all those lines, unless it's really thin, unless you're using like a silk, but you better line it if you're using a silk.
There's a lot of little tricks that you can do with this, and we won't get into it, but there's ways that you can hide your stitching. There's ways that you can hide the little light that comes through the stitching because you're actually punching little holes in there if you're doing blackout. So that's another video. Goes way more in depth, but we hope you answered your question, Kathy. And thank you. And if you have any more, let us know.
Yes, thank you. Now, could you imagine putting all that in writing?
No.
Yeah, that's why I didn't do it. Okay, so our next question is from Marina Sand. She has a great question about dining seat plywood versus OSB.
Right, and this is from the video that we did, how to repair and reupholster dining chairs. And yeah, we replaced the board.
Yes, yeah, so check that video out if you haven't seen it yourself.
Definitely.
Okay, so OSB versus plywood. OSB is pretty much chips of wood that are compressed together. I assume that they were used on another application, the actual wood. So instead of like throwing it in a landfill, which is brilliant.
It is.
Yeah, they have a lot of this, so they compress it. They're repurposing it. They compress it, and it's in the standard size of 4 feet by 8 feet is a OSB board. Thank you. Now the plywood is made up of either like 30 seconds or 1/16 inch pieces of actual wood
Sheets of
itself.
wood, yeah.
Yes, like little veneers. Okay.
Exactly.
And they're designed and engineered in directions with a grain where it's a very strong board.
Right. So there is a difference, obviously. One is just a bunch of chips glued together.
Smashed.
You know, and then the other one
Smashed.
is
Compressed.
a bunch of sheets of wood glued together in different directions. So the grains are running in different directions, which is important to keep the board rigid.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you need that strength.
Yeah, you really do want that.
It's done in construction. This is under in your roofing. You know,
Yeah.
you have your shingles under. It's underneath your shingles, your flooring,
Exactly. Now, the main
walls.
concern is plywood can get pretty expensive.
and that's what her complaint is.
Exactly. OSB is cheaper,
Mm-hmm.
but is it strong enough?
Well, that's the great news. According to the research, it's absolutely equal in durability and strength. So it's a win-win situation because durability, strength, and cost is a lot less for OSB.
Right. Now, there is there is something specific that you want to look for is the thickness that you're going to be getting for these boards. What thickness would you suggest?
For dining seats, great question. Please do not use 1/2 inch. Do not use 3/8 inch. Yes, you can use it.
Yeah.
But it's not going to last as many years as it could. So you're going to be doing this again or getting rid of it and throwing it away.
Right.
So I would use, and I love this, is 5/8 inch.
Yeah.
3/4, it comes in like 3/4,
Mm-hmm.
5/8, 1/2
1/2.
inch, thank you, and 3/8.
Or 1/2 inch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not 1/2.
5/8 is perfect. 3/4 is an overkill. I mean,
It is.
you can use it, but it's an overkill.
Now, the reason why you want a certain thickness too is because when you're putting the pressure, whether you have webbing or not, sometimes you have a cutout in the actual board and you have the webbing for your support. It's very nice. You're putting a lot of pressure when you're doing the webbing, and I have bent or warped so many boards trying to do that, putting down on the webbing. And another thing is when you're putting on the fabric as well, it's very easy. These boards, if they're too thin,
Yes.
they just won't put up the fight that they need to shape the foam,
Right.
shape the fabric. So
Like for example, if
Yeah.
it's cut out in the middle and he's talking about, you're putting webbing here and you crank down and staple that board, that webbing's starting to pull the board up if it's like 3/8 or 1/2 inch.
it's bad. So you don't want a warped seat. So just go ahead and get the 5/8. It's going to be worth the money. You can get OSB, which is cheaper. The only thing about OSB is it is a sponge. So if you're in a wet environment or for some reason you get your dining chairs wet, it's not as strong as plywood. I don't know why your dining chairs would be wet. That's your problem.
Right. You
But,
have one cool pool party.
Exactly.
You're throwing all your furniture into the pool.
Don't do that.
No, because you won't be able to use that now.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So hopefully that answered your question. If you have any more, please don't hesitate to ask.
Yes.
And we'll be happy to give it.
Yeah, please ask another question.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll move on to the next one.
Let's do it. All right, so our next comment is from Valerie, and she was saying that we are bursting with positive energy. Love your videos. We always appreciate the compliments, guys. Thank you. It
We
really
do.
does mean a lot, and we're not
It
just
does.
saying that.
It makes it more interesting
It makes it a lot more interesting.
and pleasing to do.
Exactly. And she says she's revamping my whole couch, and not mine, but hers. I added extra fill for my old pillows.
Now, wait, this video is from,
This video is actually from How to Fix.
glad you asked.
That's
It's
funny.
how to fix flat back cushions for your sofa or chairs.
Okay, and it's a common problem.
It is.
really
Check out that video if you haven't seen it yet, please.
Yeah, it's actually a really good video.
It is a common problem, you're right.
Complimenting my own thing. Would it work if I was to also add in beanbag filling?
I never thought of that.
Never thought of that. Never had that question either before.
Pretty cool.
It's a very cool idea. I'd say it really depends, and jump in here,
Yeah,
whether
sure.
what fill you have for beanbags, because they're filled with all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, they're usually like a poly, a plastic, BB-like type of
Yeah,
thing.
they're little hard beads sometimes,
Some
and
of
then
them are- go ahead.
sometimes you have like ones that are filled with basically styrofoam,
Yeah, little small pieces of styrofoam.
and then you have foam.
Well, that's an alternative that she can use that I kind of like.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, you know what? To answer your question, sure. I mean, you could try. I never thought of it. I'd like to see how it works out. I would assume that it would last a lot longer than a polyfill. You know, which that's the problem. That's why we did the video. The polyfill ends up getting matted either by children or pets, or husbands or whatever, throwing themselves back there. And I understand that it's comfortable for them.
Yeah.
But it ruins the back cushion.
it really does, especially if the back cushions are attached, but that's another subject. It can be more work.
That's a nasty thing.
Yeah,
Yeah. So as far as the beanbag, I'd like to see how it turns out.
Right.
So I would say, yeah, you could do it. I don't see a problem, except
Yeah, the only problem that we could foresee, especially with the little BBs or whatever those things are, the harder plastic and the styrofoam, is the noise factor.
could be crunchy.
It could be very crunchy. You could sound like you're sitting on a bag of chips. And that, that happens sometimes.
Oreo double stuffs.
That's right. But
Now they're really double stuffed. You know what I'm saying? So it could be noisy.
yeah,
really
it could be
could be.
noisy. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But you did find some alternative fill in here, which is for bean bags, basically.
Yeah, now here, real quick, this supplier here, the beanbag pellets is this price here as of this date is rounded up $46 for 10 cubic feet bag, okay? $46 for 10 cubic feet. So what are you gonna do with that? I'm not sure. But you also have shredded foam, which is really good because what they do is whenever you're working with foam, you're always gonna have scraps. And they take these scraps, instead of throwing them in the landfill, they throw them through a chopper or shredder, and now they have another product you can use, and that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
The durability of, or the ability to bring back, there's another word I can't come up with it, but to the resilience of the foam, shredded foam, chopped foam, same thing, or the polyfill, the foam, hands down, is going to have more resilience.
Yeah, it is.
Okay? It's going to last you a lot longer. So if you skip on the beanbag idea, then do the shredded foam.
Right.
Because the poly stinks. Don't mix the two.
No, don't. And try not to get another fill too. It's feather and kapok.
Kind of nice.
It's kind of nice, but the feather tends to act like an adhesive for the polyfill, so it becomes a ball. It's terrible.
I see what you're saying. The K-puck alone is okay.
The kapok alone is okay.
But you're right. K-puck and feather, factories are starting to do that, and it's just what you said.
It's terrible. So if you have, it depends on what fill you have. Try to use the same fill that you already have, because you're going to be spending less money too. But the beanbag idea is cool. Just find out if it's noisy.
Do us a favor. Yeah, if you do it, please email us and let us know how it turned out, because I really would like to know. In fact, I really kind of want to try it and see what happens, because I like trying different things. Great idea. See what happens. I hope this was useful. And I don't see a reason why you can't use a beanbag filler. What do you think?
I don't see any reason either.
No.
Yeah.
So we hope that answers your question. And I think that's it. Does it cover everything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just says we're awesome.
Well, so are you. So are you. We can tell. Absolutely. Okay, so that's it. We answered those 3 questions, and we want to thank you very much, Kathy,
Marina, and Valerie.
Please keep the questions coming. We really do appreciate it. We'd love to help out if you have some more questions.
Definitely. They're always interesting, too. That makes us think out of the box, too.
Yeah, I love it. So great questions. Please share this with friends or family. They might be able to benefit from the video as well.
Don't forget to like the video. Obviously, we mentioned comments, and we'll see you next time.
And if you're willing, share it on another platform.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, maybe Facebook or whatever. Facebook.
That's right. That's the only one we know.
Share it on Yelp, will you? Something, no, MySpace.
That's right, MySpace, right?
Thank you.
Oh,
We appreciate
boy.
you watching.
Definitely.
Hey, before you go, we want you to know how much we value you personally as a viewer. It's because of you that we're doing these videos. We get comments like, excellent job, love the video, helped me out a great deal in my project. But you know the most important one to us is that they love the father and son team.
We have a lot of new content that we want to give you. We have been brainstorming for months on 4 different shows that we want to offer on our channel. The new and improved Save My Assets, the color basics, the private courses, and our personal favorite, No Strings Attached. Now, of course, this is going to take a lot of time and dedication on our part, and this is where you come in. If you would please consider donating a small amount on Patreon, the links are at the top right and down in the description below. It will go a long way. As always, thank you guys so much.
We look forward to seeing you in the next video.